Chapter 6. I felt that I was in a living hell during those months after William and Justine died. I knew that I had caused their deaths, and I felt that I was evil. I started spending more and more time alone. I could not face my loving family. I began to take long walks. One day, I decided to climb a high mountain near my home. It was a steep climb, but a path was cut into the rocks. It was raining that morning, but I didn't care. I wanted a long, hard walk. It was nearly noon when I got to the top. I looked down at all the beauty below me. I felt good. Then suddenly, I saw the form of a man. He was far below me, but he was climbing toward me. How quickly he moved! He jumped from rock to rock like a mountain goat. He seemed to care nothing about falling. As he got closer, I saw how big the man was. My heart sank. It was the monster. I shook all over with anger and horror. This was my chance to get him. Even if I died trying, I would even the score for poor William and Justine. As soon as he was close enough, I cried out, "You devil! How dare you come even close to me? Come a little closer and I will kill you. I will crush you. You are a monster. If killing you would bring back the people you killed, I would kill you 1,000 times. The monster did not try to harm me. He just gave me a horrible smile and said, "I thought you'd act this way. People always hate those who are low and unlucky. I am the unluckiest creature of all. Even the lowest man in the world is loved by his creator, Frankenstein. You are my creator, yet you hate me. You and I are tied together forever, until one of us is dead." He pointed his finger at me. "And you talk of killing me. What kind of man are you? You gave me life, a life of horror. All men are turned against me. I did not choose to be the thing you made me. You owe me something, Frankenstein. If you don't give me what you owe me, I will kill every last friend you have. I will kill the rest of your family. The deaths you have seen so far will be nothing." "You devil!" I cried. I jumped at him. He got away from me easily. "Careful, Frankenstein," the creature said. "I am much stronger and bigger than you are. You made me so. I could break you like a dry twig, but I won't do that. You are my creator, and I cannot raise my hand against you. You call me a devil, but I would not have been this way. Life has made me a killer. I would have been like an angel, but after you gave me life, you left me. You turned away from me. I have been evil because I am unhappy. Make me happy, Frankenstein, and I will be the best and kindest creature on earth." His words made me more angry. "You talk of happiness when you have caused such pain?" I asked. "Oh, you evil creature, go away. I can't stand to look at you. I can't stand to listen to you." "Hear me out, Frankenstein," the monster said. "Even a man on trial gets a chance to tell his story. I don't have anyone who loves me. Everyone's hand is raised against me, and it is not my fault. You must hear me out." I thought about what the creature was saying. I was his creator. Maybe I did owe him some happiness. Maybe I should listen to what he had to say. The creature told me to follow him. He led me to a hut, a few 100 feet below the top of the mountain. It was there that he told me his story. Chapter 7. It is hard for me to remember the early days of my life. All I really remember is light and dark. I know now what was happening to me. I was born fully grown. I could see, feel, hear, and smell. But inside, I was a baby, a newborn child. When you ran from me, I didn't know why. How could I know what an ugly thing I was? Without knowing why, I took a coat from your house and left. I went deep into the woods. I slept on the wet ground. I ate what I could find, mostly berries and roots. All during this time I was sad, but I didn't know why. One day, I found what was left of a campfire. I was excited by this wonderful thing. It gave warmth and light. Like a baby who doesn't know better, I tried to touch it. Of course, it burned me. In this way, I learned about fire. Because I had no father or mother to teach me, I had to learn the hard way. All of my early lessons were learned this way. I also learned a hard lesson when I met people for the first time. I found a poor hut in the woods. I went to the door and saw an old man inside. He was making breakfast. When I came near him, he took one look at me and began screaming. He ran away. I didn't know why, you see. I didn't know I was so ugly, and I couldn't even ask why the man ran. I didn't know how to speak. The same thing happened when I came upon a small town in the woods. I began to walk down the main street. Right away, people began screaming and running. Men threw sticks and stones at me. They drove me away. I ran into the woods where I was safe. Then I sat down and cried. Why did people treat me this way? Before long, the weather began to turn cold. I didn't know how to build a house for myself. Then, deep in the woods, I found a small cottage. Next to the cottage, there was a tiny shack. I slept in the shack at night. I hid in the woods during the day. I found a small crack in the cottage wall. It was on the side where my shack was. At night, I could hide in the shack and look through the crack at the people inside. 3 people lived in the cottage: an old man, a young man, and a young woman. I couldn't believe my eyes. These people had a way to make a room bright at night. I had never seen candles or lamps before, and the old man did something that was even more wonderful. He played a guitar and sang. At first, I didn't know what the instrument was, but oh, the music. It was beautiful. The young man and woman sang along. I never knew the sweet sound of singing before. I thought, these must be the luckiest people in the world. Look at all the wonderful things they have. I couldn't understand why their songs were so sad. I thought of what I had: bare ground to sleep on and no one to love or care for me. Then I was sure that these 3 people had everything. It took me some time to find out that they were very poor. The 2 young people often gave their food to the old man. Then they wouldn't eat. That is how I learned that there wasn't enough food for all of them. Suddenly, I felt very bad. You see, I had been stealing food from their little garden. I thought they had plenty of food. I almost cried to think of what I had done to them. I stopped taking their food. I went back into the woods for acorns and berries. I spent most of the winter in the shack. By watching the family, I learned something wonderful. I didn't know what language was, but I heard these people make sounds to each other. Sometimes the sounds made the people smile. Sometimes the sounds made them sad. Slowly, I began to learn words. My first words were fire, milk, bread, and wood. As I learned to speak and listen, I found out about the people in the cottage. They all had names. The girl was called Sister or Agatha. The boy was called Brother or Felix. They called the old man Father. The more I watched these people, the more I began to care about them. When they were unhappy, I felt sad. When they were happy, I also felt happy. Then, in the spring, things changed. Another young woman came to live in the cottage. Her name was Safi. Felix greeted her with great warmth. Somehow, he was different with her than he was with his sister, Agatha. It took me some time to figure out why. It was the first time I had seen a man and woman in love. From listening to Safi talk with Felix and Agatha, I learned a lot about the family. Their last name was de Lacy. They were from France. At one time they had been rich. Safi's father was a good friend of the family, but Safi's father got into bad trouble with the government. The de Lacys tried to help him, but that got them in trouble too. They lost everything they had. They had to run away to Germany to live in this small cottage. Then Safi's father died. She came to live with the de Lacys. Safi and Felix were planning to marry. They were very much in love. Safi did not know how to read and write, so Felix was going to teach her. I saw that this was my great chance. When Safi got her lessons in reading and writing, I watched and listened. That is how I learned to read.